Yeah, 432HZ.
Yo.
What's going on? What's going on out there? How y'all doing?
Yeah. Cowboy the Ganjier smoking chef.
There you go. David, Daoud, the dad barber, live and direct.
Yeah, we just chopping it up and getting some behind the scene footage and some rare footage, ciphering regarding our podcast, Reefer Raps. And we're just chopping it up just to talk about our set and setting and how our show is, how the set and setting of our show is going to be, and maybe we'll talk about some set and settings as far as when you are indulging in your cannabis flower. And yeah, man, we'll have interesting topics. Reefer Raps is going to be a show, basically exploring the benefits of the cannabis plants through the dispensaries here in Florida. Right now in Florida, cannabis is very medical, and it has to be issued to you by a physician. You have to get a card, and you have to apply to the state for your membership as well. So we want to cover some of those things. We also vote for the opportunity to go adult recreational in November, and hopefully that'll pass. And some of the laws that are stringent, even though we're a loose state, would be reduced at that time too. So we got a lot of things to look forward to as far as this podcast goes, Reefer Raps, and as far as the state's progression to the legal cannabis market. You got anything to say,
So
Doc?
Also along the lines, when we do a telecast, we're gonna have some interesting conversations, daily questions we ask. Any question you want to ask about, we're gonna talk about it with marijuana. Right now, one of the questions we was talking about, and it's been one of the bigger topics I've seen around now, the insurgent of THCA sold in the streets, and people buying it saying it's regular weed, and they're buying it like big time.
Is it being sold in the streets, or is it being sold at smoke shops?
Smoke shops, and people are saying they stand by it, and I know people that's average smokers saying that they like it. My experience, I smoked one of the pre-rolls of that, had a headache, and didn't like it. I don't know, was it because it wasn't from the dispensary, psychologically, but it didn't do nothing for me.
Well, whether the cannabis plant is a THC plant or a hemp plant, it's going to have a level of THC. It's going to also have a level of THCA. Mm-hmm. So both of them are going to contain that. If it's being sold at a cannabis dispensary in the state of Florida, it means that you have to have a medical card to go and purchase it. And it means that once you actually consume that THC and you actually burn it, burn to consume, it's going to actually immediately convert into THC. The decarboxylation process is going to actually burn off the acid. The A in THCA stands for acid.
Okay.
And the fire actually burns that acid off, or turns it into a state that it can be actually psychoactive. It decarboxylates the psychoactive, and it decarboxylates the acid and turns it into straight THC, which is definitely a substance that can get you high.
So you're saying eventually, long as I smoke it, when I like to it, it's just like it's regular weed.
Well, now the difference comes in as to, you ask the question, is it actually from a dispensary or is it from a smoke shop? If it's from a smoke shop, it hasn't been categorized as a legal THC cannabis product in the state of Florida. So technically, if it's being sold at a smoke shop, it has to be a hemp product. If some kind of way you purchase it from a smoke shop and you consume it and you get a high off of it similar to what a THC high would be, it means that they've decarboxylated THCA that has come from the cannabis plant that has THC. And what they've done is they've sprayed a THC distillate on the hemp plant after it was already evaluated as the hemp plant. So, I can extract isolates from the cannabis plant.
You got me confused with one part.
Okay.
The part where you said that they spray the THC distillate.
Yeah.
So what is that like in a sense?
So
is it THC being sprayed onto it?
So I can actually extract THC from the cannabis plant using the alcohol method. We talked about how we get solvent and solventless extracts through our concentrates.
Yeah.
Through butane or propane.
Yes.
All right. So basically, you can get straight THC extracted with an alcohol extraction, and you can retain 90 to 97% of the THC. I would then dry that THC out or create it as a powder or whatever the case may be, and I could then either incorporate it into my hemp flower or spray it onto my hemp flower.
Okay.
It would then add that psychoactive effect that we're referring to.
As a euphoria.
Yeah. And it would give you the illusion that you're smoking.
Stoned out your mind.
And it would give you the illusion that you're smoking a plant with the full composition. And in all actuality, you are smoking a plant with the full composition of hemp. Then you're adding a THC isolate to it, which is going to give you only partial of the efficacy from a cannabis THC plant. So it'll be some of the effects. You'll receive the THC high portion of it, and then you'll receive the medicinal benefits that the CBD plant have to offer. So you'll be mixing two products in one. And for some people, that type of efficacy is fine. I'm not pro or against to tell one if that's right or wrong. It's up to each individual in their choice, Dab. But I prefer my cannabis in a full compass, meaning that the whole plant is comprised together, meaning that all of the cannabinoids, all of the terpenes, all of the esters, all of the profile from the cannabis plant are acting together as an orchestra, so that when I indulge or consume, it plays in my body the way it's supposed to play.
The rhythmic healing, that's what we're talking about. So, like, for me, like, I'm the dad barber, so I'm on those concentrates. So, the level of, like, euphoria I'm at, it's different. I'd rather have the terpene overload than anything else. Because I want the healing effect. I want my vision. I want the blood flow. I want the energy. I want the whole healing aspect that I can get from it, and the more terpenes and stuff like that. So the live risings and the stuff like that, the concentrates. That's what I like. So, but I know that there are concentrates now that they're saying that THCA, and I tried it. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't give it a chance. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't. Because I'm just so caught up in the fact that I know when I see that COA and look at it and understand what's going on and what I'm putting in my system, that's what I want. You know.
Well, most concentrates are going. Most concentrates, for the most part, are THCA. Whether you get them from the dispensary or the smoke shop, but the difference is when you burn them off from the dispensary, you're burning off the acid from a full cannabis plant that is a THC cannabis plant. When you burn off the acid from one of the smoke shop plants, you're burning off a isolate of distillate THCA that has been converted to THC. However, it is on a hemp plant because smoke shops in the state of Florida cannot sell legal THC plants like a dispensary can.
Okay.
So right then and there, I mean, there's no room for a misunderstanding or confusion. Can they go to a smoke shop, buy a flower that can act as a cannabis flower and give them some type of efficacy, some type of therapy, or some type of healing? Yes, they can. Is it recommended by me, a certified cannabis professional, an expert in cannabis, that they should go into one of these places and do that? I advise it at their own risk. If they're in a state that does not offer a cannabis program or a medical cannabis program, adult cannabis or a medical cannabis program, but they offer a CBD or a smoke shop program, then they have to rely on the certificate of analysis, the COA, which tells you all about your purchase, your cannabis product.
Well,
so, you know, some of the smoke shops, I've seen COAs there.
That's what I'm going to say. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're doing it now on another level because they got COAs at the smoke shop now.
Yeah.
So it's gearing around some real, like, I don't know. I mean, I have a friend that he's a dabber too, and he said he bought some stuff and he loved it and bragged on it. And I said, okay. I mean, for me, I don't know.
Well, one thing you got to remember is that the friend that you're speaking about, 9 times out of 10, didn't take the time out like you did to situate himself to be able to responsibly procure his cannabis product, go through a doctor, and to ensure himself that he's getting something that can benefit him and not just any old thing to get him high.
Yeah,
so some people care more about, you know, their bodies and their healing and their medicines than other people do. So I'm not pointing the finger at anybody in a negative way. It's just people have the option. It's a free world. People can medicate in the ways that they want to.
I mean, I look at it like this, man. Like, you're gonna do him, and that's his way. I look at it like this. This is a lifestyle for me. This is medicine. This is healing. This is growth. You understand what I'm saying? And I know what I'm putting in my body.
You don't like nobody playing with this.
Nah.
And so, you know, you're very similar to me, and that's why we ended up vibing. You know, I take my indulging in my product very seriously because it is going into my body. I probably take it more serious than I take the food that's going into my body.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a process too. So that's a process too. Turpulator.
It's time for the turpulator. It's time for the turpulator. It's time for the turpulator. Yeah.
Time for the turpulator.
You'll be getting unique lingo with us, all based around our terp experiences.
Yes.
As we hit the product or the device, and it gives us that sensation that we're looking for, and it just fills our mouth with those, in our olfactory system with those delicious terpenes. We're gonna have to react to it. We're gonna have to let you know what time it is. It might be time for the terpulator. It might not be terperific at that time. You know, it might be terpendous. You know, it's gonna be something.
And give you terptation.
Hey, and you know, we're gonna have to put some kind of terp on. We're gonna have to put some type of terp on the lingo. So you know, you'll be hearing us with a lot of terpene lingo coming at you. Yeah. You'll be getting good reviews regarding our dispensaries in the area. We'll primarily review concentrates and flower, but we will also provide insight on edibles, topicals, and other cannabis product tinctures and other sublinguals, other cannabis products that you know you need to be informed on, even if we use them or not. We're going to use the platform as definitely somewhere that you can get some education regarding your cannabis plant, your cannabis use. You'll learn some tips about rolling. Of course, the podcast is called Reefer Wraps. So, you know, we talk about the reefer and we talk about the process of the wraps. Like right now, I'm using a backwood Russian cream, and Dab is using a loose leaf strawberry dream. So both of these are infused. I got mine infused on the actual tobacco leaf with my papaya live rosin, and he's got his infused with a hash hole or a snake of some piatella hash and some bubble hash. Yeah, so basically, you know, that's how we indulge. Sometimes we smoke for therapy purposes while we're talking to you, and sometimes we are doing a review, but we'll keep you informed. We'll have great contests for you too, to stay abreast on and to keep our clients, our audience interactive with us, and for you to be able to win some prizes and things of that nature. You know, we want to generate sponsorship and things of that nature, so we know we need to provide you a good show and have some great topics, inform you, and things of that nature. What do you think about that, Dad?
I think that when you look at a product that's real good and you understand it and use it, you know, that's the best way to like market it. And that's what we're doing, you know.
Yeah, like these half-gram live rosin disposable cartridges from Sunburn. They're pretty good. I had a couple of them. I had guava gok, and I had a soap. You know, I had a sativa and a hybrid. And I think that, you know, Sunburn is a dispensary that is more so focusing on their concentrates, and they have a large selection when it comes to ice water bubble hash, piatella hash, live rosins, and live resins. So I think that they do a pretty good job. I've checked their YouTube, their hashishing out on the YouTube page, a couple of their hashishins or concentrate specialists. I don't know what level they're on, but the products that I've had that Mountain Trop. I've had one of their coins, chocolate chip mint, if I'm not mistaken, and I've had the other two that I told you about. So as far as the live rosin category and concentrates, what I think that in Florida, we're starting to get a lot of competition in the dispensaries. Like, you know, even though we're just medical, new dispensaries are opening up. So there's a lot of competition that's starting to occur. Prices are dropping. Also, big companies are beginning to focus on specific products. Like, you go to this dispensary if you want some live rosin. You go to this dispensary if you want some great tier 1 flower of a gelato spectrum. You go to a cookies dispensary if you want to celebrate the hype of the cannabis industry, you know, or if you're a tourist.
I think basically like a lot. It's going to be a lot of what I could say, like dispensary wars, and the strongest will survive. And I'm very going on open, like California and, you know, all the other places that's, like, you know, known for it. Florida has some good stuff coming out of there. It's a lot of good, especially in the concentrates. right now we got some of the top people in the industry, cultivating a lot of the marijuana here. And boy, like I said, like these concentrates are a different level. It's a whole different level. And like he mentioned, Sunburn, like yo, they are really the boss on that hash. They got that hash, and I'm talking about.
They're the only company that has. If any company has hash now, it's only because they have to be in competition with Sunburn. Sunburn was the first company that I found out about to offer hash in the sense of pressed ice water bubble hash.
Yes.
Other companies have had sift. You know what I mean? Hash sift or bubble hash sift or whatever the case may be. But this is the first.
Yeah, but not this is the first.
Yeah.
And on the level of the thing is, they had other people had it, like you're saying. But let's talk about quality.
Yeah.
Shut the game down. No. Just
and a diversification of products.
Straight headbanger.
They got hash sticks. They've got hash medallions, and they've got Piatella hash. They've got a lot. Dab Barber. So yeah, visiting a dispensary like Sunburn, you really get a chance to, and they have a social climate where they have a pool table in the middle of the dispensary when you walk in. They have tablets situated in different areas of the store for multiple customers to be able to look at the products and place their orders. So they're futuristic and progressive when it comes to the dispensary setup right now. They do provide an open and airy and an airy environment. They need to add more lighting. So what we're trying to do is we want to remove the stigma of cannabis being a back alley product. We want to bring it to the forefront. So we want the place to be lit up. We want it to be airy. We want to be able to see the products anytime we go into a dispensary or a location. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that right now it brightens up my day, so let's keep it bright. That's what we got to do. You know what I mean? There's not no back alleyway, you know. So the ones that the dispensary I like about Sunburn, it gives you that California like style they have, like that West Coast flavor, and like real open, and the pool table. Hey, come on in. Wait for your thing,
It makes you feel social.
Good hash, yeah. Very social.
So yeah, but what I like about it is I like their background. I like that Sunburn is a company based on a story. The smugglers from Colombia used Panama City as a drop-off point, which then the cannabis moved to, if I'm not mistaken, Pensacola, and then was disseminated throughout the country from Pensacola. So they used this Emerald Coast to be able to do their smuggling, and that's historical. So Sunburn, plays into the legacy of the cannabis history here in Florida. So they came in with that marketing concept.
And you gotta understand too, like you look where we're at, we're on the Gulf Coast and everything like that, and the tradition of like how the water, lifestyle, the climate, this is a good place for growing. You're gonna see a lot of stuff different, man. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I stand behind Panama City. You know what I mean? The area that we're in, we got some good cannabis coming out of here, man. Really good cannabis around this whole area. I mean, Florida itself, man. Like 710 Labs and all that. Oh man, it's so many like the place you was talking about in Miami.
Yeah. So basically, in the state of Florida, they're allowed to be able to purchase different, cultivars and lineages from companies that are not in the state. So, for example, they'll go ahead and get some genealogy from 710 Labs or from whatever, whatever company they feel that would be best doing business with, Bellamy Brothers, etc. And then what they'll do is actually cultivate those specific cultivars in-house. Every cultivar has to be grown in Florida, and it has to be grown by that company. As far as my understanding goes, it'll probably open up and become a little more diverse in the future. But I don't. There are a lot of hemp farmers in Florida, but as far as independent THC cannabis farmers, I'm pretty sure that you have to be one of the dispensaries, but they just have those cultivars from 710 Labs or whatever the case may be. Yeah, but so we're on the Emerald Coast, Panama City, northern Florida, and the shoreline meets the greenery, so it's called the Emerald Coast. And this is a great place to grow cannabis if you take that risk. Cannabis growing is not legal in the state of Florida. There are still some people that are in that legacy or in that underground or that black market that are cultivating. And if they did take a risk like that, some of the outdoor lands here are ideal for cultivating some of the best cannabis. As a matter of fact, I met a gentleman that actually was a great cannabis cultivator here in northern Florida in the Panhandle, and he did get arrested, and had to do some time for cultivating, but he was growing some of the best buds in Florida. We've got Gainesville Green. We've got the legacy of the OG and the Kush parentage coming out of Florida. Where we are in northern Florida, it's not as humid or hot as it is in South Florida. So you still have to worry about humidity, but humidity is not as much of an issue as it is there, which if there's less humidity, there's less chances for mold and mycotoxins and all of those other negative conditions that can come with cannabis cultivation in those hot and humid climates. What do you think about that?
Well, that's it. That's what I'm saying. I'm Team Florida all the way with that. I mean, I know what it is. I've tasted, cannabis from a lot of places.
You recently just came from Philly. How was the weed in Philly?
Well, I love my city, but it was okay. Now, when I brought up a lot of weed, and when I shared it with amongst my friends, they was like, yo, that's some good shit.
So let me ask you this. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I need to ask something. So when you went to Philly, because I've done my research and I found that Pennsylvania is a medical state. They don't allow adult recreation, even though their neighbor states do, New York and New Jersey. Mm-hmm. They only have a medical program. So first I want to ask you, was your medical card in Florida accepted in Pennsylvania?
I went to the dispensary in Jersey. I didn't go to the dispensary in Philadelphia. Now, one of the guys that I was with, he makes edibles and concentrates and stuff like that. And me and him got together. But he even said this, that what I brought up blew him away. The hash. That hash really got them. They didn't understand that. And then the other concentrates that I got blew them totally off the market. Now, he did have a good drink. It was a tea, and it was real good. It was real good.
So for the most part, the people that he was encountering, or the people that he knew when he went to visit home in Philadelphia, are still, purchasing their cannabis products on the black market in the underground. Basically, the cannabis dispensary, you have to have that medical card, and if you have your medical card from Florida and go to Pennsylvania, the medical dispensaries there don't reciprocate your medical card issuance from Florida. So he was in Philly, and he basically, smoked with the locals what they were smoking. And basically, according to what he's just saying, his commentary, they are not smoking like the dispensaries are smoking here, because most of the cannabis that he shared with them was from the dispensary.
Definitely from the dispensary.
Yeah, so
and you gotta understand too, it was not low grade. I always deal with high grade THC and high grade with terpenes. So the average stuff wasn't, I didn't bring average, I brought above average. So you're talking about guys that's on the street buying at lows and mids and selling them as like top shelf. That stuff was low. and it couldn't even compare to the fact of what I had, because of the fact that I would be like their top. I'd be 10 tiers higher than their top weed.
So basically, he took some of the tier 1 dispensary flower and introduced that to them, and some of the concentrates that we have. And they were basically, even though it was Philly up north, they basically were blown away with the product that he had. You know, so if that's a testament. Earlier he was saying that you're going to see a lot of dispensaries, you know, fighting, you know, for survival. So, you know, we're going to be seeing a lot of acquisitions and things of that nature. Some of the big multi-state operators will be acquiring a lot more of the smaller mom and pop dispensaries. Here in Florida, True Leaf and Kim Rivers is the #1 advocate for adult recreational cannabis use. They've put up over $50 million in funds to be able to get that to fly. So we will not have an active home grow program at all, not for the recreational market, and we currently do not have one for the medical market. Hopefully, after a year or so, we'll be able to have some of those options to develop in our house, things of that nature. Because I really would like to be able to grow my own cannabis.
Yeah, of course.
Even though some of the dispensaries are great, I don't think that they would beat my product, and I know everything that was going on with my product.
Yeah. I mean, as a business, I understand what True Leaf is doing, and I respect that, because I really like True Leaf. I really like True Leaf. I'll be honest. I never bought anything out of True Leaf that was bad. And True Leaf, to me, really, like, exceptionally, like, have good, they're well-rounded in each area. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
They got good flour, good concentrates, and top-of-the-line stuff. And, yeah.
So, when I initially got my medical marijuana card, True Leaf was the first dispensary that I actually procured my cannabis from.
Okay.
Initially, I had great experiences with them.
Yeah.
Once I regularly started getting flour from them, it started tasting the same to me. So I started trying other dispensaries, Move, Grow Healthy. You know, I experienced a lot of the different dispensaries. I don't want to name them all. But what I noticed is True Leaf must have been either using the same growing medium and nutrients, or it was just something off. So I kind of like didn't use them for some years, to be honest with you. I'll say I stopped using them in maybe 22. And my brother Dab here went and procured some Dream Queen from True Leaf and told me how good it was. I said, you know what? I don't deal with True Leaf any longer, but I'm gonna give them an option, because you know what? They hired me. Unfortunately, I wasn't allowed the opportunity to work with the state of Florida at a dispensary, but True Leaf did give me an opportunity. So I was more than willing to give them another opportunity again with their products. I tried the Dream Queen that Dab told me about, and I was impressed. Since then, I have been consuming a lot of the True Leaf flower again, and some of their concentrates and cartridges, live rosin, and I have been impressed, I won't lie. And they've had some good therapy in a lot of their product. They had this one Okeechobee orange, man, it had the terpenoline, it had the limonene, it had the osamine, it had a little myrcene too, but it was a great cultivar, great medicine, man, and I recommend that. They should keep that Okeechobee orange all the time.
Now, they got this thing called terp sauce. It should be called Headbanger. It is crazy. I'm telling you. Like, their terp sauce is to a level of like, wow. They really dealing with the terpenes. And I'm talking about a euphoria of like driving in the metaverse. Seriously. Like, I'm talking about your sight, vision instantly is like that. Like, wow, I can see that. I can see that. It sharpens up them senses. This is real good stuff, yo. It's the concentrates. This is dabbing. I'm talking about dabbing now. It's dab barber right here.
So
it's on a whole nother level.
Let's take concentrates into perspective. What are concentrates? You know, that's a good question. People want to know maybe what dab means when he says concentrates. Concentrates are removing the trichome from the flower of the plant. The trichomes are on the plant to protect the plant from insects, from the environment, sunlight, to attract or to protect the plant from harmful or beneficial insects. And they are removed from the plant in a manner of sifting or cold water and ice. And then they are harvested from that point and processed. Those are where all of the medicine in the cannabis plant are held. The cannabinoids, the terpenes, the flavonoids, the esters, all of the compounds in the whole orchestra or the combination of the cannabis plant are in those trichomes. And so the trichomes are then processed either in ice water or sifted through a mesh, beat and sifted through a mesh, or removed via a solvent, meaning a gas, a hydrocarbon gas, either CO2, butane, or propane. Once this is done, the trichome heads are then harvested and processed in either a manner of collection and pressing or or filtering and pressing. And then you get all of the different products that come as a result of the expression of a plant, whether it be live rosin, live resin, whether it be crumble, whether it be batter, whether it be shatter. You know, all of those products come from one of those processes, either solvent or solventless manipulation.
So it's a whole new process. It's not just rolling a blunt.
It's like the tomato paste. When you extract all of the purity from the tomato and consolidate it, it's the concentrated, parts of the cannabis plant.
And I'm gonna say this, like, it was funny trying it, coming from the 80s, like with the glass pipes and all that stuff. I said, what the hell is this? The crack of weed. But
my wife says the same thing.
It's the funniest thing. You're high off of 2 hits, and I'm talking about no pain, no gain.
So, we're just building right now and setting up the background and the episodes for our podcast and our video cast. And basically, what we want to do is we want to inform you and we want to educate you and we want to allow you to have some fun at the same time. We're seeing how we vibe on the camera together and what type of, what type of chemistry we have. And I think it's pretty good. You know what I mean? We've had one run. I forgot to turn the microphone on, so it was a very good chat.
That's how good the weed was that day.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have our episodes broken up just like a regular show, more like a talk show or whatever the case may be. So we'll come in with an introduction, and then from that introduction, we already have our introduction, have our theme music, our introduction. Then we'll tell you what the topic is gonna be. Once we introduce the topic, we'll roll off into the first segment.
Of the topic. About, what a new strain that's coming out, something political that's dealing with marijuana or anything like that, and health. And we're going to talk about a lot about health and the use of marijuana. How does it affect? And we're going to talk about personal. You understand what I'm saying? So we're going to be interviewing people. We're going to be on location, you know what I mean? Remote, this place, that place. You'll see us around. We're doing this thing strictly for the cannabis user in South Florida and Florida in itself and in the worldwide. But we know where we're from. We're right here in Panama City.
Yeah, we'll definitely be covering all the tools of use.
Yes.
From the vaporizers to hemp wraps, cigar wraps, papers, and we'll cover some of the latest music out, some of the latest rap music out. We'll talk about the artists, we'll talk about the music, we'll talk about the 50 years of hip hop. We're OGs. We'll talk about how it's evolved, how it's advanced, how it's stagnated. We'll cover all the aspects of it. Hopefully we'll eventually get a chance to interview some local and some national musicians.
Yeah.
We have big hopes for the podcast and the video cast. And that
education too. We're gonna and the thing is, we're gonna give you the educational aspect of what we're talking.
Yeah, 432HZ.